Hi everyone, I'm Insiya Kapasi. Here's a little brief introduction about myself. I'm an architect by profession in the environmental architecture, design, and construction field. I have designed and built structures or spaces, both large and small, of various occupancies, and I've also been involved in innumerable master planning projects across the globe for the past 10 years and more. I have my specialization in environmental architecture and BIM, which is Building Information Management and Modeling. I have been in the field of BIM since the past 15 years, and I have worked on a versatile range of projects in the US, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Turkey, Canada, Sri Lanka, Mumbai, and so on. I'm here to speak about BIM, clients versus contractors, briefly putting forth the various mindsets that a client has versus what a contractor has related to BIM. In the design and construction field, who are the clients? The clients can be people who own a property, space, or a piece of land, namely property owners, design builders, developers. Property owners. Property owners are typically people who own a space. They are either living in it, working through it, leasing it, or using it in some way or the other. They have a predetermined mindset when it comes to BIM, which is BIM helps them to show their spaces how they would look in reality through 3D renders and the ability to see their houses or spaces in plan view rendered form. Here are a few images of the plan view renders and the houses that are 3D rendered and how they would want their spaces to look. Design builders. Design builders are people or companies hired to design a project, tender the project, and construct it on site. They hire architects, contractors, and other consultants to mobilize a project. Design builders too have a predetermined mindset when it comes to BIM, but a bit advanced, which is BIM and design oriented. They assume that BIM helps them put conceptual design and detailed design into 3D to create working drawings for contractors, as well as help in the 3D renders for the floor plans and isometric rendered views of their spaces, which would help them put those together in the form of brochures to sell their newly built spaces. Here are the examples of a 3D rendered plan and a brochure that would have these kind of plans and 3D renders. Developers. Developers are the same as design builders. They typically develop a large acre of land or a township and which have various facilities and amenities. They have a BIM mindset that it enables for design in 3D, helps in renders of large structures and amenities, and create walkthroughs that would help them to sell the properties and the development faster. They are more interested in the overall look of the space they are developing and ready documents to sell the property developed plus walkthroughs. These are the few examples of images of a 3D rendered building and 3D rendered amenity spaces. Who are the contractors? They are the one who manages and hires the subtrades to start and finish the construction on site. They're also called general contractors. The general contractors also have a preconceived notion about BIM. The basic mindset is to create drawings and 3D models for construction purposes. Some do have an advanced mindset in which they know that now they'll be able to calculate total quantities and costs. To calculate quantities and costs is 5D BIM, which is called Fifth Dimensional Building Information Management, which includes conceptual modeling and cost planning, which is called budget, quantity extraction, verification from fabrication models, value engineering, which is cutting the cost down, and prefabrication solutions. There are many elements that the clients are unaware about BIM. Few of them are listed here. Unknown elements to clients related to BIM: ability to create construction documents in 3D to understand details better. Level of development (LOE) for each 3D element can be detailed to 500 at design stage. Clients do not know that the 3D detailing of a model can go up to the LOD of 500. For instance, if you see this image, the 3D elements are all detailed. If you see the foundation wall, you can see the detailed foundation wall, the profile of the aluminum window, the pavers, the stones, the finishes, and so on. If you see this area of the building here, you see the 3D detailed elements of the suspended ceiling, the wall finishes, the wall assembly, and the aluminum and glass construction. Calculations for budgets using softwares like Trimble Vico. This is something that the clients do not know, that they can calculate budgets at a very early conceptual stage. For instance, if you see this image, this is Trimble Vico and the model is inserted into this particular software. You put in the information of the cost on this model and your budget is calculated. Trimble Vico is compatible with many softwares like ArchiCAD, Tekla, Autodesk Revit, CAD Doc, BuildSmart, SketchUp, and so on. They do not know that the BIM can help in doing the daylight analysis and the energy modeling of projects, which can lead to LEED certification. So if you see this image, this is a daylight analysis of a space. These are mostly used by architects and interior designers to design a space. As to have workstations, they should know which area to provide the workstations, what should be provided in areas that has maximum of sunlight. The red part is the area that receives the most amount of sunlight, whereas the blue area is the one that receives the minimum amount of sunlight in a room. This particular image is regarding a 3D model that was converted to an automatic energy model. This is done through eQuest. So the model is inserted into eQuest and the energy calculations are done here for the heat load and heat gain calculations into the building based on the number of diffusers, the assembly of the envelope, and so on. They do not know the ability to access and browse the 3D model on the phone via a cloud platform. They are able to access the 3D model on their phone, which the clients are not aware about. This is done through PlanGrid by Autodesk. The model is available on the phone through BIM 360. There are many elements that are unknown to contractors as well. Few of them are listed here. Ability to create quantity and cost takeoffs. This is an example of how a cost is calculated based on the type of wall, the area of wall, and then the total information of a unit rate, that is unit rate per square feet. That's put into the model and then the total costs are calculated. Generation of time scheduling and management. This is something that the contractors are unaware of. You put the 3D model into a time calculation software like Power Project, and then you put in the information for dates and the time to construct a certain part of the project. So in this image, you can see that there are dates provided as to there is a certain part of construction to be completed from one date to another. If that is accomplished through this software, then your project is on track. Creation and infill of information for future facility management through digital twinning. This is the most latest kind of facility that the contractors are unaware about. They do not know that they can actually access the model in real time. So here is an example of a 3D scan where the 3D model is shown. So they do not know that the ability to view the 3D model in real time for the team carrying the facility management is something that they should look into. So if there's a model for a project and there's information of a vendor related to every element in that model, The vendor is contacted when there's something wrong with that particular element in the building to come and repair it. This is a part of facility management and it's digitally managed. And the vendors are given notifications directly. So this is called digital twinning. Creation of life cycle sustainability assessments with the building information model. This is again something that the contractors are unaware about, that a life cycle assessment can be done of a building from the start of the project up to the end of the project and up to occupancy. This is an example of the LCA of a CO2 emissions and then the other elements that are involved with LCA calculations. When comparing time and cost saving and efficiency to mobilize and complete a project, clients who are paying for it think because it's BIM and because it's 3D, it's going to take way amount of time and money than stipulated. So we can have a conclusion saying that BIM has evolved from three-dimensional to seven-dimensional with a combination of various processes, softwares to make two-dimensional designs set into a digital real-time structure to save time, money, and energy. For instance, 3D BIM, which is called the third-dimensional BIM, it always had basic geometric representation and spatial relationships. Fourth-dimensional BIM, it had construction sequencing and project scheduling. Fifth-dimensional BIM, it had quantity takeoffs and cost analysis. Six-dimensional BIM, it had environmental impact assessment, life cycle analysis, something like daylight analysis and energy calculations. And seventh-dimensional BIM had facility performance analysis, asset management, predictive performances, and maintenance, which is called digital twinning. The clients and contractors have a certain mindset for the percentage of efficiency and time a BIM project involves versus the actual percentage of time and efficiency it has, which is clearly presented in this graph below. The contractors who go through the construction using this process think it will take more time because it's 3D, whereas we can conclude that it actually takes way less than what a client or a contractor thinks based on this graph shown here. Thank you.